fair points, actually. I think you're coming into this one with tempered expectations. I don't think we can go all in on the Vitality picks, but it's going to start now. So without further ado, let's just let this speak for itself. Astralis, Vitality, a good old BO1 boiling down on Nuke. They're wasting zero time. Astralis already just barraging their way out from Hut. It does get stopped by RPK as he picks up a couple of kills here. And now it's Device in the middle of the site, removed from this one. Ooh, frag back from Snappy though. He's trying his damnedest, absolute damnedest, but nothing more for him.
As much as it's a shame to talk about Astralis now with missing two very important players, it makes it even more interesting to watch them. I mean, I'm sure we knew as much as we could about Astralis's Nuke, with their original lineup. But here and now, we don't know what's going to change. We don't know how these players will perform. And although Dupree did say you can't expect the same Astralis, you know, he's saying that in the same room with Snappy and Yugi listening, thinking, we want to make sure you don't feel like that, right? These are players that expect to win just as much as Dupree does, and I'm sure they're going to be trying their hardest and preparing for matches like these. And as clear as it was on the desk that this could have come down to Inferno and Nuke, I'm sure it was no surprise to any of the players that they could have ended up on this map. So for all those reasons, I want to be excited about this match.
Yeah, most certainly. And I think that if we want to emphasize some of the individuals here for Astralis as well on Nuke, Yugi, no slouch to opping on this map either. I'm actually really curious to see if Device is going to continue as regularly with the sniper on Nuke particularly, because when Yugi was really kind of rising through the Danish scene and making a name for himself before he had a chance to star on Heroic even, that's back where he dominated Nuke as an individual. So I have high expectations still. This is 3/5 of the best team in the world. And although with their pistols, they'll be cut down like any bunch of noobs would, well, they'll still pull up a little bit of a fight. Dupree, single deagle headshot. Vitality, 2-0 start. So far, everything's normal.
Yeah. It is interesting to look back on the video and think like, wow, this could end up on like a map, you know, Astralis would want to play. So in any other circumstance, it might be a bit more rough for Vitality. But again, they're not through it, right? We don't know that they're going to win. I mean, I think a couple of us predicted that they might, but mostly because they're in full strength. But let's see what the CT side has to offer. So far, it's the 3 FAMASes, a UMP, and M4, because there wasn't much damage done on that last round, whereas Astralis already have the 5 AKs up, and Magisk, who's a centerpiece of the T side, who is the entry god into lower, has already crossed into secret.
And Shox, well, he's looking to perhaps push past smoke. Be very cautious, Shoxy. There's a body raid on the other side in Dupree. He's got the grenade out. He dunks that down. Dupree pushes past it. Dupree, for a matter of seconds there, was just waiting for the most opportune moment to go for the strike. And he, sure enough, susses it out to a T. But Masuda, well, he's already on that lobby flank. So just as quickly as Shox was trying to push up on ramp, we've got that flank coming in from the CTs as well. Magisk has been left to his own devices, just happy to clear out some of these lower halls. And eventually, we are going to see Astralis turn their attention back towards ramp. It's just a matter of timing. Do they catch that flank? Everybody has moved down into this B site. Everyone from Astralis with feet on the floor. So Masuda, he comes down to the base of the ramp, but he's still hasn't seen anyone. I guess the advantage of this is he calls 2 more CTs over, but, oh god, the disadvantage is Yugi's on point. Just shoots down 2. Masuda trying to come in with some trade frags, but the last remaining members of Astralis are shoulder to shoulder inside dark. And Masuda, well, he's going to have to look down if he wants to clear this. Bomb ticking pretty quickly. It's already so far gone, and there's no way Apex can win this round. It's Vitality giving it up, and Astralis on the board.
I like the round from both sides. I think considering how clean Astralis had, how cleanly Astralis were able to get downstairs, Vitality do well to bring it this close. The fact that 2 entries go perfectly well, or Magisk making so much room outside without any nades coming his way, any spam coming through the smoke, that's a lot of credit to Astralis. And yeah, Vitality, it's Masuda to make this round possible, I'd say. You know, big individual performance by Yugi in the post plant, but Masuda makes sure that they can get down ramp a lot faster on the flank. But there's really nothing that Astralis should have changed. They pretty much played it to a T from all regards. And I think the only thing that Vitality needed to do differently was apply a bit more pressure to Magisk outside.
Frags being exchanged. Device, he can't get into the mix, so Magisk has a lot to try and handle. Device, he's just been chilling up here on the rooftop. He was waiting for somebody to actually extend from Squeaky, but that wasn't needed. So we've got Vitality right back in control. What do you make of that aggression, Mo?
Well, one thing that we know has changed in the discourse about CT side nuke is that there are more pushes into lobby than ever before. CTs feel that it's even favored sometimes to pull off these pushes. And for Ts sitting in there on these close angles, if there are coordinated attacks via ramp and via hut, that some of these angles are very CT favored. I mean, sometimes pushing an op in there can win you the duel. Here we see the Fomuses be just enough. And for Astralis, that's a bit worrying. So you might get diminishing returns from sitting in lobby to hold for pushes if it's not your prerogative to try to rush upstairs, for example. So maybe, holding back with one might be enough, especially if you get lots of information on CTs that have pushed, because that can open up other parts of the map. In this situation, Vitality score all the kills. They put Astralis on the pistols. They win the round clean. They've upgraded to 3 AKs or 4 Tech 9s in the hands of Astralis. Nade lands at the feet of Yugi as he's got his eyes set forward on the hut, looking for somebody to push, but there is nobody here.
Nope, they're just going to try to flood out where it's met by a smoke right as half of the terrorists get out. RPK can't turn back fast enough, but ZywOo, he's in from above. He's gotten himself a couple of kills, and Shox will seal the deal. 2 down for Vitality, but 4 up on the scoreboard.
I think the big question is that if you do pull off one of these lobby takes, or you're going to try it again, are you necessarily weak outside? And I don't think that's that is 100% true. I think there's a little bit less pressure that you can have outside. Maybe your mini guy is not just sitting in mini holding for the cross, but it would tell you that Astralis probably want to try to poke around on that part of the map if they think that Vitality are going to try one of those aggressive strats again.
Everybody's just cautiously walking around the map, not looking to lose their head to the Deagles. Hoping that there'd be somebody back behind blue, but Apex, he's going to find the timing on the secret peek. It seemed he holds it off. No rush.
Well, the aim looks...
Everything's fine. Oh, or so it was. Apex, he's going to peek up as Magisk, who wasn't there originally, actually gets into position. But obviously, these Ts moving their feet past the blue box and starting to take heads. Snappy finding great timing. It's all on Shox. He gets softened up, but still able to take 2 kills back really quick.
Oh my god, that is not at all what I expected to happen. Shox now, the 1v2 situation is definitely a winnable one, and although guns have been upgraded, Magisk and Snappy, they don't have head armor, from what I can tell. Nade will be perfectly placed, leaving Shox in a one-on-one. Extremely high clutch percentage in contrast to Snappy. Can he pull it off?
Well, he's going to close the double doors, focuses solely forward. Snappy just on the other side, lines up the spray. Oh, line of sight not needed. Snappy looking happy as he gets Astralis their second. That was 4 Tech 9s in the round, and they make it work.
No, it was 4 Deagles.
No, sorry, that was the round before, right?
Yeah. It was all of these. Okay, well, I guess it's basically Device outside. 2 very important kills to bring it that close, and Shox almost pulls that back, but what a travesty for Vitality. They lose a round to only Deagles after surviving the force-up to try to bring back the economy in favor of Astralis. So we've officially got a game on our hands already, and it felt like Vitality were about to walk away with this one, at least this half, from what we could see. ZywOo has $5,100. We'll just invest in, it looks like, a Deagle and half armor. And his teammates, he was looking for the op this time around. It doesn't seem like anybody else in a position to buy too many things. So yeah, that's I mean, yeah, this is how it goes sometimes. The economy swings back in the favor of Astralis. They pick up 4 AKs. They look healthier than ever, and they have a eco cleanup round to try to steal back from Vitality. And unlike their eco, Vitality have much worse guns. They have 2 USPs to work with.
Betway odds flying in. Vitality still favored. 4-2. But I wouldn't be shocked if those numbers were calculated previously to that last round, because, as you said, a lot hinges on this. We're going to have Astralis coming in with real form, real advantage, and already an opening kill here. Device yet again outdoors. He'll be met by pistols at a distance. And not just one, not just two, but almost all of Vitality trying to find this fight versus him. So it's a nice little test, you know. If he didn't warm up this morning, this should be the round to really make sure he's on point. But they do a good job of just offsetting the lineup slightly. And ZywOo has something more to say. That's an M4 picked up. That's 2 rifles in the hands of Vitality. A 3 versus 3, but a bomb plant on the lower site with full armor and strong post-plant positions. Yeah, unlike that round previously where Astralis make things crazy, Vitality, they just simply have to save.
Yeah, not a terrible situation for both sides. Keep a couple of guns saved, a relatively clean round. Majority alive here for Astralis as they clean up on the eco round. Device, I mean, when does he not look in form? He's not the player that you go, oh, he's having a great game. He is playing like he always does. We saw that on the Deagle round. We see this in this anti-eco round with the 2 simple kills. And I just want to know what Astralis are going to think about for this following round. And because sometimes that lobby control can be hard to stop, even if you have a lot of players there, you know, will Astralis try to double down on it and hold for pushes? Or are they going to try to bait that aggression, squeeze out to somewhere else? That's what I'm most curious about.
Well, we'll have to keep our eyes on it. Snappy should have a gun on the ground, but seeing as how much he spent, I was curious for a second, maybe double sniper setup, which would be wild. But he just drops like $6.9 thousand on the round. And it seems like Astralis are going to head back outdoors. Snappy all alone inside of the lobby, and we've got the boost up from Vitality on ramp, so that's going to enable them to move a player back. Shox no longer getting aggressive, no longer playing on the face of the smoke, but will that extra CT player come into fruition? They're going to be presented a lot of targets here. ZywOo close on the smoke. A second headshot, but he can't manage that third one. Magisk is able to stay alive. Single man advantage here for Vitality, but Masuda finds the lineup through the door, and that's that lobby player. The solo lobby player for Astralis goes down.
And yeah, we've got some of that more of that presence outside from ZywOo. I mean, I love that he didn't move after his first shot. What a unique situation to be in, and of course, he gets the 2 headshots versus rifling players. Just ice out Astralis in this situation. 2-on-4, Magisk has heaven control for what it's worth. But so they have enough CTs to kind of watch all spots at this point. RPK, eyes trained on this peak.
And he's going to find the headshot. Even despite being made uncomfortable by the flash. Oh, and Apex just sidelines Yugi pretty quick, so Vitality right back in control. You know, there was a moment where it seemed like that device outer Deagle play was going to just allow Astralis to unravel all this, but Vitality's defense is looking good, despite being here on Nuke.
I know what you mean. I had the exact same feeling. That this is okay. Vitality going to toss this one back a little bit. But yeah, ZywOo's looking great outside. And I think the outside is looking generally a bit weaker. And I would say one of their more successful rounds were when they tried to when they had Magisk in that first rifle round cross outside off the 2 smokes and just hope that no one spammed through. I mean, I might test the waters on that one more time. But we also know a focal point of Astralis' T side is getting vents control. And I don't know if they're willing to try that this time around, but I'm certain it's in the back of their heads. It's one of the things that they do that appears to be the most difficult to replicate, but they can get away with so many times in one half. And we know the value of having a T drop down the vent in the first 20 or so seconds of the round. It throws the CT rotations into absolute chaos. And we see that lurking and timing battle in the lower bomb site. And I think you know, that's again what kind of takes Astralis' T side Astralis' T side across the line in some of their matches.
Laying down the second smoke once they get into position and finding a route to the secret stairs. But ZywOo, he warns them. He knows exactly what's going on. And poor Yugi is wounded as he does get closer to that B-bomb site. It's Masuda with the one and done. Apex, great grenade, but he's going to have to try and hide. Snappy gives chase, goes down as Apex swings out the door and adds another frag to the tally. But Device, he's got 2 kills to his name already, and he's got a couple of other players to find. All the time in the world, bomb on his back. Talk me through how he wins this.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, again, in the first part of a clutch, you always see the silence, and it comes down to trying to get the CTs to spread out, and then figuring out where they're going to spread out to. And it's partly a gamble, partly a read. RPK, top of the hut, will know by Device's crosshair placement what he expects, and he does find the first kill. Op is inside the hut, waiting for Device to peek, but now downstairs has been opened, and he's doing it quietly. So not only will he be offered up a bomb plant, but ZywOo will be a little bit late to the call.
Device, he's going to prioritize plant. ZywOo's trying to close this distance, but does not want to give away his position. Device still playing in the dark. And here comes ZywOo knocking on the B site. ZywOo easily could have gone towards decontamination as opposed to double doors, and had he done that, then Device would have slipped into the double doors first before ZywOo would have line of sight. Then we would have had Device, you know, just kind of cutting off the possibilities and potentially figuring it out. But ZywOo, he makes the gamble correct, and that right there is another for Vitality.
Device makes the most of a bad situation, but ultimately, Vitality had better guns. They had better trades in the early round. Apex got 3, I think, holding from Decon in the first place, and so you'd think Astralis weren't supposed to win that round. But there's been a lot of rounds that weren't supposed to be won in this game already that we've seen come close or go the other way.
Whoa, Shocks about to throw a smoke, but because of the sheer aggression here from Astralis, it was kind of put onto the shoulders of ZywOo instead. He fades away from this, though. You know, the sheer numbers of Astralis can be a horrifying challenge. Shocks gonna manage it. The first peek goes his way. Dupree drops that bomb, so even further information gained here from the CTs. Go ahead and forfeit the ramp room. What are Astralis gonna do about it? They can't really fight their way out. And they're slowly losing numbers one after another.
Yeah. Well, ramp is kind of like mid on a map, you know. It's useful, but you can't plant there. And just as you're saying, they're going to have to try to make a move from this point. But as long as the CTs have numbers, they can cover all routes of escape and attack at the same time. So Astralis, they'll group to try to push and face their fears. They actually take out ZywOo on top of it. Oh, okay, well, I called that a bit too soon. Apex seemed unaware of the potential threat in both situations, wins both duels, and Vitality come out just fine. Don't know exactly what happened there.
Yeah, minimal losses all the while, so nobody loses their head just yet. Astralis going to be coming back in with a nice strong buy. No op, though. Still no op in this equation.
he just did the no looker. He just turned away for kind of no reason, and then looked back just for the style points. Okay, so we're into round 11 already. Back to another buy. What is going to be Astralis' game plan once again? It looks like I said on outside, Magisk at the in the front carts here, and Dupree up top to see if there are any pushes. Run-of-the-mill default towards outside. Again, they're not overstacking in the lobby. Instead, having one man sit and watch. I think this does make sense because Vitality, they haven't been applying a lot of pressure to the cross, but wow, how things change. Magisk and Yugi get collateral through the box.
Unreal. I would love to have that one on the highlight, just because ZywOo, just, you know, we talk about it, the unconfirmed damage, the invisible wounds. He's looking over top
how
of the
they
smoke
are.
now, ZywOo, and he does catch Yugi.
Yeah, it's kind of a quiet cross, but they do get down. But now that it's known, because they mistimed it with how they cross and the smoke's coming up, Apex is going to unleash.
Yeah, he's going to start sprinting inwards. All the while, Shocks, well, he holds on sight, but Device turns his head back, and that's a big kill. It opens up the possibility of rotating up towards A. Shocks realizes this. He tries to stop it, and he's going to have to go all the way outside. Masuda, he comes back from ramp fast enough, and I think because Astralis are aware that this isn't a surprise to the CTs, they stutter step it, and now they've just gone ahead and lost the bomb inside of Mini while they did still remain downstairs. This is going to be really hard for them to claw their way out. It looked like they had that open route. They could have just all flown up the ladder and nobody would have stopped them, but now it boils down to just Dupree. He's stopped by Masuda, who wasted no time getting up into heaven, throwing himself down onto the A site, and shutting down what could have been the rotate from Astralis.
Yeah, I think I see it the same way you did. It felt like communication might have been a bit cloudy at that moment, where they could have potentially committed downstairs. And as Vitality made the immediate gamble rotation up to heaven and to overstack upstairs, Astralis give them just enough time to get into perfect positions to stop the vent. As a team that's lower, you never want to have to come up the vents. You'd only do that in a situation where you know that upstairs is completely clean, because it's such a disfavored battle. And they still make that decision, and they do it a bit late. So the cross comes down once again. Astralis are getting this far, so you have to understand why they're trying it. Trade comes out, but Vitality's still in the power position with the guns.
It's a weird one. You know, there was a moment there where Apex, because he threw down his Molotov and interrupted the smoke wall, he would have seen 4 players just jumping, literally jumping over top the gap. He peeks back into Mini for a moment, and now Yugi has body bagged another CT with just the Deeg. It's a 3v3, and it's slowing down as we hit that minute mark. Apex, he's going to be creeping and crawling into the B bomb site. He finds the back turned of Magis. That's the 1 bullet tap to drop the AK. There is still a rifle in the hands of Snappy. He has Kevlar to go with it, but Yugi doesn't. Yugi, with just the Deagle, has gotten himself this far.
Yeah, he is believing in the heart of the cards right now. Channeling all his energy. But will they fall into his trap card? Find out next episode.
Well, Apex swings the door.
Bomb gets planted.
Now Snappy's very much pinned into old toxic doors. There's no way for him to run. He is committed to the bomb site. Curious to see whether Yugi draws the attention away from him. Maybe we get that M4 coming in with a wild trade.
Oh.
Yugi, he's gotten another Deagle headshot. That's the 3-piece, but he's going to have to just go for the entire ace or boil down the time long enough to deny the defuse. He's going to start spamming the smoke. He's got 4 bullets left over. Zywoo sticking this bomb down to the 2-second mark. Yugi, oh, imagine a world where that last bullet just somehow finds his head. Vitality take their 9th. But hot damn, that Deagle from Yugi.
Yeah, we missed one. I feel terrible. 3 headshots there, 4 kills in the round. The damage is great despite not winning the round. It's well handled, though, for Vitality. Could have definitely got scary, especially, giving up control room here. And Yugi, I mean, he's dismantling every single part of the site. Absolutely no problem for him. That was a spooky spot there for Vitality, and a T timeout will be called. So here's the thing. The way I look at this, Astralis, they're getting across outside with minimal losses. But Vitality, although they're not throwing a lot of utility at the problem, they are seeming to find one pickoff or some good damage, unconfirmed sometimes on the cross. And from there on out, they've been winning the rounds. So I think as far as they're concerned, they don't need to risk it anymore or waste utility that they could potentially use on a retake. They want to try to get some damage in and continue to win rounds versus Astralis crossing outside. But how can Astralis turn down the offer of crossing outside if they're going to get all the way down in the secret of 5 players alive? Only a fool would overlook that, right? Like, that's a huge amount of map control, and so you can see why Astralis are continually trying it over and over again.
Little change up, though. This time they're going to emphasize the lobby already with a bit of footwork outside on the A site, but Shocks. We saw a couple of times where he was being boosted on top of the ramp. He decides to get aggressive yet again, plays around the smoke, and hits them from behind. But it's still the 3v3 with feeble outdoors. Dupree. Oh, man. He's going to be feeble with only 10 HP left over. But so far, so good for Astralis. Zywoo, he's going to creep up into the scope of device. It's all on the tank. And these last 2 Ts have such little HP to work with. They're going to fear for their lives. They're going to run as the Sherman, the Panzer Shrek of RPK, doubles back towards Secret.
I don't know what any of those things... I imagine they're tanks?
Yeah, something along that. Sherman,
okay.
Abrams.
Yeah.
World of Tanks, bro.
Yeah.
It's RPK's second favorite game. His most favorite, still Counter-Strike. Let's see if he can clutch this. Last player right above him, both working with minimal HP. And RPK goes one better. 13 frags, 7 deaths, 8 health for the 1v3 clutch.
Le Tank. He does it. He pulls out the 13th, and it's another round. Astralis lose by the skin of their teeth towards these lower hits. A 1v2 that doesn't go their way. And RPK, he obviously had the health advantage in this spot, but still, you could very easily lose. I know, I would give that to the T's every day of the week because they have the ability to get, you know, a free bullet or a couple shots off, considering RPK is that one-man army. But man, he does well to get both. Astralis, 3 rounds looking for 4, and Vitality, 10 rounds and not looking like they're going to slip. 2 ops here in play, Shox and Zywoo. A great adjustment to do when you're feeling rich, and also when you're winning a lot of rounds, just to add a brand new problem onto Astralis. If they avoid one up and run into a second one, it was worth it. But Device, he finds his opening outside. That's Apex down. A lot of ground gained here for Astralis. Let's see if they can close this out, this 5v4 advantage.
They're going to walk around a bit. Zywoo, he's not going to waste any time. Just runs right in. Doesn't see it coming. Dupree. Whoa, a second.
Okay.
Finds Shox deep inside of the ramp. He's going to go with a little bit of a missed flash, but still successful as he catches RPK inside the hut. That's 4 survivors for Astralis. It's 4 rounds for Astralis. One final attempt coming up
they
next.
can. Yeah. Device, 14 frags on the half so far. Everybody else is really lagging behind, but Dupree's entries have been heard around the world. He's definitely had impact that we remember, and here he's showing us what that looks like. He's had a pretty fantastic tournament so far, despite, you know, the team not playing up to snuff, and that's a good sign. Vitality, well, yeah, vital signs are low here as we have 2 MP9s, a UMP, but at least the op on Zywoo. So the double op does not work out, but the opening kill does. Single op may be enough here for Vitality.
Shox, somewhat aggressive, but also tempered off angle. Wow. Snappy with the robbery. He has 3 health left over after the MP9 takes him down, but little AK snapback. It's enough to equalize 4 versus 4. Now RPK trying to find a little bit of comfort here, trying to find the right angle. He hears the door open. Zywoo with the op finds one. RPK is going to be empty-handed on the hold. Zywoo's now going to have to double back and try to play into the heavens. And Musuda, well, he's got the chance to come up ladder, but what kind of a distraction can his teammates create to even give him a chance? Maybe he flashes his own way out now that Mini's been blocked off a second time. Remember, there's nothing to lose here. Final round of the half. Oh, that's big. Apex, he actually finds Dupree through smoke, and Zywoo just looks away from the head of Yugi. That's going to bring in Musuda. Again, Yugi, he's being made uncomfortable, and Snappy, who started it all by stopping Shox, now has to close with the clutch. Oh, and he walks into the wall bang. No time. Okay. No time. Astralis, they take their 5th round. Vitality, they double up the score here on the defense, but that's that. Time is the burden. The 14th and 15th both going to the Danes. Oh, what a half. Look at all those defuses as well, deep in this first half. Ladies and gents, please join us after the break for the second side of Nuke.
So, Deagle is done. I'm currently in the lead. Next up is the AK on overpass. Is everyone? A mid shot suddenly. One of the most confusing thing is there's no radar, so you don't.
I've been spawning on the same position every. Oh, you come with a deal there? There's two guys spawning there. What?
Spawn kill.
Can you do?
Uploader.
Four kills, 13 deaths, 53.5 ADR. It's a tough day in the office for Magis, but it's not the end of the day for Astralis. They now switch over to the defense, and tell me why the likelihood of a comeback is high.
It's not. I would say what's interesting is that, you know, Magisk is calling. Can't sugarcoat it, man. But what's interesting is that because Magisk is calling, you know, it puts undue stress on his T side, but it can't be understated how important he is on the T side for his entries. I mean, this has got to be one of his worst Nuke performances today, but I imagine it's because of the IGLing.
Yeah, extra responsibilities for Magisk. Apex, he's holding off this lobby flank. And Device goes down. Another heavy hitter out for Astralis. Man advantage back in for the T's. Bomb planted. Magisk, he's trying to tap away. They've brought it back to just Shox. Shox looking for the clutch. Looking for the 1v2. He hears that bomb tap. Goes in for the challenge. He got the player off of the defuse as well. So now he tucks. And Shox, a masterclass in the clutch. He's going to finish this one. That's Vitality with the second pistol.
Despite his form, you know, we see good clutch players win despite their form all the time, and Shox is one of those players that, you know, historically I think he had the most 1v1s, if that's not still true, versus any other pro player. And I think that 1v2 percentage is quite high as well. So no surprise to see that he's able to win this one. It makes it look good. Vitality, we're good enough, honestly, with just the bomb plant there. Would have tried to pull out a buy. And instead, it's one step better. They get the round, they put Astralis on another save, and it's a quick rush upstairs to maybe ice him out.
Yeah, just looking to flex the weapons advantage here. Molly towards Heaven. That would have completely prevented Yugi from getting into the mix, but he died already. So problem solved before it was a problem. And what's left of Astralis? Well, knowing that they won't be able to buy back in the next round, knowing they've lost 2 players and the bomb plant, let's just go ahead and save this one, boys. Keep that scout, move it forward, try again in the 18th.
Yeah, they'll give it their best try. I think last half we saw Astralis pull that off. They lost the eco round, but then they lost the force up, but saved a few guns. Won the round to follow with just the Deagles. So, of course, you've always got to hold your breath for Astralis, but so far Vitality looking good, doing their part, and not overcomplicating the issue. I think one of the easiest ways to lose a round like this is to try to go outside slowly, let Device have many opportunities to get kills or do damage, and slowly get whittled apart to the point that your team is low on numbers and confused about where the flanks are coming in. So Vitality, yeah, that's one remedy to that kind of issue. Rush upstairs, and it works out beautifully. So what is there going to be any kind of reinvestment from Astralis? It looks like no. Their money is levitating around the 2K mark. Device in a pretty comfortable position. Astralis not in a comfortable position, but yeah, Vitality can once again try to prey on this, and we'll see how they approach it.
2 Zeuses. I feel like the Tech 9s, we've been getting more and more Zeuses as of late. I'm 100% on board. Yeah, Zeusai, Magus. He's ripping him to shreds here. Redbox was the first hurdle, and Vitality have traded that one. But they're going to have to try and control the weapons around here as well. I mean, now's the time to do it before any other CTs actually encroach any closer. Looks like Astralis are making moves here. They've moved that scout towards hell, so they hope that these rifles try and go for the cross. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. If you have rifles versus some sort of half-buy, well, the distance tends to be your advantage. But that's only if there is no scout in play. So, looking to avoid Device at all costs. Dupree could be called into action, but with the Zeus, he just wants to wait. Here it is. Challenge outdoors. And that's what I'm talking about, man.
Want to risk it.
Zywoo walks right into it. And now if they start playing closer corners, look, we've got 2 Zeuses prepared, but oh no! Yugi, he weapon swaps. That's going to give them another chance back in. It's still not undoable for Astralis. RPK is going to have to give cover to the bomb plant. That AK's been picked up, but RPK drops it, and the Molotov helps by denying any heaven presence.
Surprised they even managed this, despite, you know, that quick switch that ends up losing HUD control. They still were in a 3v2. Dupree walks through the smoke. Trades are coming out, but the CTs are in untradeable spots. It's just Device now with this. Scout shocks immediately, eviscerates him, wipes the slate clean, and allows Vitality to move in the next round. Forget that ever happened. And Magic's Deegs were apparently completely in vain. This is a round they definitely should have won despite him getting traded out. And yeah, I mean, you hate to see it. Don't know what the value there is for Yugi to switch. Even if he doesn't think there's someone there, he would have been fine to have the Zeus to peek that angle. So I'm going to assume it was just a mistake. But in CSGO, sometimes with timings this tight and this much pressure, those mistakes can mean the world.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And maybe with Magisk finding that success last round behind the red, well, Device tries his hand at it. Snappy's going to throw that grenade deep, pops back up, and he has done such a good job already of softening up Vitality here. Device called into the action. Snappy's going to retreat, and Apex, that's not going to make it any easier. RPK has been one of the heaviest hitters for Vitality, and he's taken out by an ally. A so-called ally. Apex, 14 health, gonna walk forward on Snappy, gonna take the headshot even. Smoke down bomb plant maybe.
Wow, they're respecting it. That was a free kill from Decon, but they just wanted to play it carefully. It's a Magisk too, to partake in the restraint.
He heard this door open. Oh my god, and he's gonna take another headshot. Now the bomb's actually planted for him.
Connor. No way.
They smoke him off, he double flashes out. Oh, come on. Let us believe, but as it should have gone, Apex, he was already way past his expiration date, and that's Astralis with a 6. 2 survivors, so, I mean, in hindsight, I think if anything, you know, jokes aside, that's actually huge damage for what is a feeble economy for Astralis.
And it feels like that's been a consistent storyline for Astralis this game. It's like even when they win, they take too much damage. They're dropping too many bodies, unfortunately. Yeah, and at Vitality are putting their chemistry to the test from that perspective. It's a really great round, you know, despite losing. So T timeout will be called to try to find the problem areas, stop the bleeding, you know, bandage it up. And but yeah, the early to mid rounds look good again. I mean, Astralis, Snappy does great damage with his HE, doesn't overcommit on his spray, falls down, baits them into the op shot. This is exactly what you want your ramp player to do. Snappy plays his role to perfection. But look at Astralis on this round. Don't even have that op again that opened it up last round on Device.
Already down the vent, though. Shock's wasting no time whatsoever. How fast is that rotate going to scramble down here? How much, you know, pressure does Vitality want to apply? Maybe just give Shock some time. I mean, there's the minute 30 mark. It's going to be real difficult for Astralis to do anything about him. Let's see.
He really, yeah, I mean, no matter what, his presence alone is enough to affect and influence rotations from the CT side. And so recognizing that's his job, he's not going to overcommit. Yeah, they have pulled players down. RPK, double entry upstairs. Masuda looking to help him out with a third, but it's 3v3, and Shox is still up. That can flank Heaven on top of everything else. What a push into the lobby. That is a huge read.
Yep, that's the big one. Big one indeed. Device and Magisk. Oh, they've already got Shox looking for them, but Shox, he's going to get tunnel vision towards Magisk, and he misses. Oh, dude. Bro, this is all of a sudden Astralis back. They've got the 2v2, they've got the health advantage, they've got the utility for a retake. Oh, but Masuda, he turns his attention around, and now it's Device down. Magisk, last man up. Smoke, frag, doors swung wide. He's going to go ahead and block off the right side of the bomb site, and then he's going to have to swing into the stack. RPK up close, execution style. That's a 14th round for Vitality. A huge lead for them to just rock Astralis through the rest of this CT side with.
Yeah, two away from closing this out. Let's look at this. The two great entries from RPK and Masuda to get the other 3 kills as well. May as well have been a 2v5 from that perspective. But we cannot forget about the fact that Shox performs his magic trick, the vent drop. As soon as the round begins, gets downstairs, and the reason that Vitality still go upper is because if you take a T and you put him down the vent, then one of the initial rotations will be pulling a player from Astralis out of Heaven because they might be scared about a vent drop, and I think they were trying to prey on that, or at least make it seem like there was a window of timing where Vitality would think about going outside as long as Shox was still alive. And of course, he can still serve more purpose as a lurk, and although he dies outside, he does get a bit more information, not a tag on Device. But then that shot, or that kill, obviously comes as Masuda picks up flank. But his awareness throughout that whole round was quite good. I mean, he was one of the 2 players to push into Hut to catch the ramp push from Snappy.
Little preemptive grenade towards the squeaky door, but Shox isn't there barreling through it this round. I feel like Vitality, they realize they've got Astralis pinned right now. Minimize your mistakes.
Yeah.
Let's play a little structure.
Yeah, some structure, yeah, definitely would be great. But again, it's like it feels like just a amount of time before the round like slightly deteriorates for Astralis. Is the start seemed quite strong, and Device has found his way to become the forefront. You know, when it comes to these opening kills, he'll once again have an opportunity to deliver on behalf of his team.
This is one of those incredibly safe positions for him, but remember, it's a scout, not an op, so unless he's cracking headshots, it's not going to be too easy. And now that they know he's back there, they're going to try to hunt him out. I mean, Dupree, he was supposed to be that that helping hand. Maybe a player that deep in spawn actually is kind of too daunting of a task to go chase, so they think it may be easier to just avoid him. I mean, think about it. Device, he can't help anybody if he is pinned in that CT spawn.
Yeah. He doesn't want to rotate, so as long as they believe that he doesn't want to move from there, he's pretty useless.
Okay. But he cracks back Apex. We do have the T's just sprinting down to the B bomb site, so probably thinking to themselves, with Device out of the equation, with 3 other players somewhere in the facility, there can't be that many down on B, and they call it out appropriately. Magisk, he's making a ton of noise, just haphazardly running over to the secret stairs. That's where RPK is going to drop him, and Vitality, they are staring a 15th round in the face. Looking to secure 1 point off of this at least. And you know what? If we look at the group in general for these 2 teams, it would be huge for Vitality to actually win a game because they're currently sitting on 2 ties, which gives them less points than Astralis' current 1 win, 1 loss record. So they need a victory, a legit win, to just push them up to like the 5 points in the group. That should put them 2nd or 3rd. And remember, it's 4 of the 5 that go forward into the playoffs. So this is a big one for Vitality, especially versus another team who's in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, well, we know V is for victory, so Team Vitality would say. So, yeah, they've got a clear route to it. They also have a great round differential off of this series, if that is what's relevant to them towards the end of the group. Device, he's trying his damnedest. Dupree, he's put up some rounds, but overall, yeah, there's just, it seems like the problems are just far too great, and Vitality are far too consistent right now to be able to drop a series of rounds to allow them to come back. But yeah, Magus, wow, he's trying to go get that kill. You have to praise the attempt. And Snappy does find some redemption for his teammate. And finds a trade. Full nades kits here for Vitality. But it is a 4-on-4 situation. Dupree, cheeky push here into the smoke, but it gets called out by RPK. He's been so aware of these smoke pushes.
Yeah, RPK has been looking fantastic.
22 and 11
on
on
Nuke.
RPK, yeah. Holy.
Again, one of those players who can just, silently work his way to the very top of the scoreboard. It's the two pieces here and there that just tally up. Yugi, again with the Deagle, does tons of damage here versus the T's, but if it's not Device and Snappy to come together and clutch this, then it is Vitality 16-6. Device, he's been caught by Shocks in this position, and even though he's ready, AK bests the M4. Snappy down for the count.